unexpected job come up. I have to go up to a place called Pink Mountain way up in northern BC. So I had to come down to the shop this morning, and this is it here. You can see our nice little sign. We're in kind of an industrial area. Only about a 10-minute drive from my house. This is just a small office that we have. This is just a branch office in the Edmonton area. So the head office in Calgary is a very large complex. It's kind of a manufacturing outlet as well. We'll take a look on the map here, where I've got to go if I can get this curtain open. No, I guess not. Here's a better map somewhere else. Let's see. There's Edmonton down here. I've got to drive all the way up to Grande Prairie, which is right here. And I've got to pick up some tools there, some extra stuff, and go all the way up here to Fort St. John, which is way up in northern BC, and then I've got to go up 135 kilometers up the Alaska Highway to a place called Pink Mountain, which you can't see on that map. It's too far away, we don't even bother recording it on the map. Take a little walk down here, go to the back shop. This is where we keep all our tools at. You can see there's a whole lot of different kinds. There's bridge plugs and packers and anchors. I'm not going to bother explaining what each one is for, it just gives you an idea of the different various sizes and types that we have. Those are all our production packers. Each one of those packers is worth about $6,000. Each piece there. These are our service tools. The ones that are red and white and black are the ones that we rent out. We just take those out to a hole and run them in and do a job and pull them back out of the hole and bring them back. And we service them in this area where you can see that the boys that were working down here on Friday left a nice tools strewn all over the place. I just backed my truck in here to load it up. Inside of our tools are a whole lot of O-rings. So here's all the different sizes that we have to use. We have charts we got to go by to know which O-rings go where, and eventually you get to know it. This is the place where we clean it up in the wash bay. There's a tool that's all pulled apart in there. And all these connections are very tight. You can see here is a tool that's been run in a hole and pulled out again. It's ready for servicing. It has to be all taken apart, and all the O-rings and the rubbers changed. These are the rubbers here. They pack off the casing when we set the tool. Those are the slips that hold it in there. And these are the slips that hold it from moving up, and those are the slips that hold it from moving down. It's just a J-action type of setting. This is on the back of the shop. There's a couple of trailers we use when we have to take long tools. There's some tools that have been serviced. We just finished rebuilding them and stand them up and paint them up for the next job. Here's where we keep all our element rubbers and different spare parts for some of the tools that we have to run. We keep extra parts in case a piece of it breaks or it gets worn out, we have to replace. These are all our slips and seals for the internal parts and the external Slips and drag blocks. These are different gauge rings for all the different sizes of casing. We have to change them out on a tool. These are just couplers and stuff that we sell to the customers. Over here are things called blast joints. There's for high pressure and gas flow against the outside of them, and they're designed to withstand pressures. So you run them in the hole right around where the holes are in the well where they're producing, and it doesn't do as much damage as it would with normal tubing. These are casing patches up here for when you get holes in the casing, you run them in and set them where the holes are. All this stuff over here are called slick joints and profiles, on-off connectors, seal assemblies. Doesn't mean much, but it gives you an idea what they're called. So we run those things into a permanent packer. Those are the permanent packers down there. We set them with wireline way down at the bottom of the hole, and they're hollow on the inside with a seal bore. And we run these items in. This piece here has those seals, and that slides inside the seal bore to seal off the bottom from the top. And it has a little latch that latches into the top of the packer and locks in to hold it there so it won't move out in case there's a temperature change. These are called port tools. A packer like that with a seal assembly is worth about $2,500. I hear the phone ringing. I guess I better stop here for a second. Anyways, to continue on, these are some larger seal assemblies. Those are worth $4,000 each a piece. You got your cups over here for the SST tools for selective acid jobs. Over here we have cement retainers. We go in and we set that little piece in the casing there, and that piece there runs into it and stings in, and we can pump cement through it for closing off a formation they don't want to produce anymore. And these little items here, they're kind of unique little pieces. These are for setting in tubing. That's worth about $2,000, that little piece. The main cost is just the engineering, of course, to get it put together. Our tools are not the most expensive in the oil field. Baker oil tools, they have 75% of the world market. They run production strings that are worth $50,000, $60,000 easily for deeper holes. We're more into the shallower holes. We go from approximately 2,000 feet down to 12,000 feet. We don't usually run anything deeper than that with our equipment. It's just not designed for it. We're trying to hit a different end of the market as far as the depth of wells goes and the pressures you're dealing with. Well, that about wraps it up. I think I've pretty well shown you everything in our shop that I can show. It'd be interesting to go down to Calgary and let you see what it's like where they're being built, but that's a whole nother story altogether. Well, I better get my tools together. I'll show you the tools that I'm taking up there with me. Ones I have to run in the hole. This piece here, the one in the middle, that's the bottom part of the straddle. And the top part is this white one in behind where it says 023. I have to run that in. We have to screw them all together and we space them out a certain amount. Whatever the oil company wants us to space them out between. And we have a little bypass valve, that's for circulating fluid down the hole. It opens by turning it to the right and closes by turning to the left. I have to run that in the hole. And then there's the fluid control valve. I don't know if we have any redress. I'll probably have to redress one before I go. Oh no, we have a couple here. These are fluid control valves. That's to hold the column of fluid up so it doesn't get sucked into the formation by the vacuum that's on it. If you put a certain amount of weight of fluid on top of your formation, say it's at 6,000 feet, this will hold the fluid up so it doesn't take off on you, and then you can pump through it at a certain pressure. And that wraps up our little tour of Site Oil Tools.